Hello everyone! So after not going to see an optometrist ever, these happened. You can see the reflection on the... Alright, these aren't happening right now. So carrying on from the last episode, I was on the internets again, as I do, and I read a story about a 67-year-old Belgian woman from the town of Wherein on the French border. She was going to pick up a friend in Brussels, about an hour away. Not familiar with the route, she decided to use her GPS to help her out, which took her past Cologne, Frankfurt, and Nuremberg, through Austria into Slovenia, finally stopping in Zagreb, Croatia, when she thought, maybe I should turn around. 12 hours later. This is the trip she thought she was taking. This is the trip she ended up taking. Say, I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque. If you don't get that joke, you're very young. That is an 869-mile detour. Like she drove through the Alps. People who use Apple Maps are like, ha! See? It's not just us. I use Apple Maps. But this story made me think about how much we actually rely on today's technology. The only phone number I have memorized right now is my own. And I honestly can't remember the last time I asked for directions from someone. Sometimes when people try to give me directions, I'm like, oh no, please. All I need is the address. And then I get lost because I use Apple Maps. I think about how we've started outsourcing our knowledge. I have, in my pocket, well, in my hand now, the collective knowledge of humankind that I can access from anywhere in the world with a cell tower. It's this outsourcing of knowledge that more and more people are doing. Now it's becoming more important to be able to access this information and be able to tell how two ideas are connected. I mean, I can literally find out any bit of information in seconds. If I wanted to find out the landmass of friggin' Zimbabwe, I could do that. Time me. How big is Zimbabwe?
Let me have a look. It looks like the total area of Zimbabwe is about 151,000 square miles.
That's ridiculous. After thinking about our reliance on technology, my mind goes back to 2006 with an incident involving James Kim. James Kim was awesome. He was a senior technology analyst for Tech TV Labs, which I wish still existed, and he made appearances on shows like The Screensavers and Fresh Gear. After Tech TV, he became the senior editor for the technology journal CNET, and he was also part of their podcast, Crave. After spending Thanksgiving in Seattle, Kim, his wife, and their 2 daughters set out to return to their home in San Francisco. Along the way, they missed a turnoff in Oregon, and instead of turning back to go to the exit, they decided to plot a new course through the Oregon wilderness. They ran into a ton of snow and ended up turning onto a logging road by mistake. With the snow, they eventually ended up trapped. They kept the car running to keep themselves warm, and when the car finally ran out of gas, they then burned the tires to try to signal rescuers. After a week of being stranded, James Kim left his family and the car to set out for the nearest town. 2 days after that, his family left the vehicle, and they were spotted by a helicopter pilot that wasn't even associated with the rescue effort. James Kim wasn't so lucky. Now, because of his background in tech, it's easy to assume that they were using a high-tech GPS or an online map of some sort. But the Kims were actually using a paper highway map. I mean, it's still technology, but it's not exactly high-tech. Obviously, this is a natural progression if you think about how we rely on things like fire and the wheel. I think part of the problem, and certainly the issue for our travelers, is not just a reliance on technology, but a complete trust in it. We are culturally growing more and more skeptical, and I think that's by necessity. I think a healthy amount of skepticism is important, and growing even more important in an age where anybody can post anything online. I mean, how many times have you seen someone outraged post a satirical article on Facebook thinking that it was genuine? I think that blind faith in technology should be recognized, and we should actively be taught against it. You know, that Kim story turns that Belgian woman's story from a comedic one into one of survival. Stay safe, everyone. And let me know what you think of these. I'm not exactly sold on them yet. It is nice to see things, though.